Hi and welcome to this new series with me, Sam, from Emperor's Path. Over the course of this new series, if the title doesn't already give you all the information, we're going to be looking at painting. We're going to be looking at using the airbrush and weathering techniques that I use. I want to premise this by saying that over the course of the next few episodes you may learn something, you may not, and that everybody paints differently. I have picked up little tricks along the way from several people. I got lessons from my friend Stu at Miniature Realm Studios, who taught me a great deal of how to airbrush and stuff like that. I've then adapted based on what I like to do, and there are people who do less than me, people who do more. But I wanted to go over this, I wanted to go over the basics, I wanted to go over the sort of equipment that I'm using as well. So off the back of that, everybody uses different equipment as well. So if you don't have necessarily the most expensive paintbrush or the most expensive airbrush, or you're not using the most expensive paints, don't feel downhearted, because you can still achieve fantastic work. I'm going to be going over the basics of like the airbrush and the kit I use as a sort of a premise, but you can do what you want, how you want, and it's always great if you can buy cheap models that you can test these techniques out on first. So before we go any further, I'm going to start the intro and then we're going to have a little brief overview of what to expect from this series. So in front of me I have two model railway items, one of which is a Royal Mail coach that came in the Woolworths Royal Mail set back in the 1990s. I've been after this for quite some time and finally managed to get hold of one secondhand at an absolute steal. And all I've done to this is I have used oil paints and the airbrush to sort of make it a little bit dirty. I haven't done any sort of mucking around with adding different buffers or anything like that at this particular moment in time. I don't need to do that. The only thing I have done that I have adjusted is I have fitted NEM couplings or NEM sockets to it, which I've done in previous videos before. The second is this Class 37, which I picked up from a model railway show back in October, November in Portsmouth. It was £15, it was a non-runner, and the body shell was absolutely ruined. I have basically, bar the yellow ends, this has been completely stripped and the whole bodywork has been redone. So using this, I've used an airbrush with a little bit of painting here and there, some tape, oil paints and stuff like that to do the weathering, but predominantly this has been done with an airbrush. So this is something that has come out of the factory that I've just weathered slightly. This is something that has been completely repainted. So hopefully these sort of things take your fancy. I'm going to go over a few bits of what we're going to be working on so that you guys have a rough idea, and if you want to play along at home you can. And then we're going to call it a day on that episode there, and then next time we're going to come back and we're going to have a look at the airbrushing equipment that I use to get you started. So you've seen what can be achieved by using an airbrush and having a go, which is the best thing I can advise you to do, is just give it a try. Find something that you can buy. The Dapol build it yourself kits are fantastic because they're quite cheap to buy a coal truck or a wagon or something like that and give a go at painting it. It's worth mentioning that things like coaches have very smooth sides and not that much deep recessed detail or anything like that. Some do, some don't, but as a general rule they are a lot smoother, so you won't necessarily get as many grubby parts using the oil paint methods I'll show you further down the line. Because we're bridging the gap of my Warhammer life and my train life, I'm going to be covering it over two various different things. So this is part of a giveaway that I'm doing that I announced on Instagram. If you want to go do that, check out my Instagram and you can have a look at how to enter. But this needs repainting and then weathering. So as a heads up, this is going to be repainted, but it's also going to be weathered to heck. So there is going to be a lot of dirt and grime on this one, but you're going to see all of those processes as we go through. Secondly, we're going to be using these plastic rhino parts. Now, if you're a Warhammer 40k player, you will have seen this tank probably many times on the table, or at least some sort of variation of it. These are just the armor sides that come in the packs, and if you buy the Forge World tanks, you get these parts almost as extra, as you'll be replacing these parts with resin kits to make them look like a different tank. These are fantastic for learning techniques in various guises with your airbrushing skills. I'm going to be painting these in 2 different colours. We're going to be starting right from the bottom all the way up to the weathering stage of them, and hopefully you'll be able to see the different techniques I'm using along the way. These doors are going to be done in different colours. We're going to be talking about complementary colours and contrasting colours in hopes of making things pop. We're also going to be having a look at applying transfers to these. Not sure if this is going to be getting transfers or not, but these are going to be given transfers. It doesn't matter what transfers we're using, everyone uses different transfers, but we're going to show you how I do my transfers. So, in the next couple of episodes, we're going to be getting along with these. If you have these and you want to give this a go and you want to try at home your own version of this, then you can. If you don't have them, you can pick them up extremely cheap on trading sites, eBay, and other various places like that. Going along through this process, I'm going to be talking about what kit I use in the airbrush department. I'm going to be talking about what paints I use, what type of brushes I use, and once again, none of this is set in stone and you can use it however you so wish. These are just the bits that I like. You can choose to use them yourself, or you can choose to not to. We're also going to be talking about primers, because I tend to have a slightly different view on primers than some people. And we're just hopefully going to be having a lot of fun going down the road with this. So that's just a short intro of what's to come over the next sort of couple of weeks. Hopefully you guys are following along. If you are going to be following along, please leave a comment down below and let me know. I'm also intrigued as to whether you're going to be following along via the Warhammer method, which I think is the cheapest way to do it, or via the train method, which I guess you could make it quite a cheap way of doing it. I do have some wagons in the loft which I might use in this video to try and help as well, so don't be surprised if another one randomly turns up further down the line. So yeah, that's a little talk about what we're going to be going through. I'm also going to be talking to friends of mine who also do a lot of painting and asking for their tips and advice, and basically, hopefully, somebody will learn something coming out of this. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you tune into the next episode. Leave a comment down below if you're excited to follow along with this project. And thanks very much for watching. I've been Sam from Emperor's Path.